I was born. I'm re-recording this because I wanted to exclude how old I am. Because I'd like for bitches to guess. Yeah. And I'm probably gonna cut this fucking beer because it makes me. There's no point. I'm not probably gonna cut this. I'm probably gonna be dead by tomorrow. But, I am going to. I'm losing my train of thought. Anyways, I was born as Xavier Montalvo, April 1st, some time ago. Not really sure when. Not sure of my age. In Red Bank, New Jersey. And I'm not gonna get into like the defamation of my mom's character because it's like, I guess I'll get sort of the context of like what has happened to me, what she has done to me later in life. Because I've had stories of like telling like how my parents treated like me when I was a child and like how my aunts were concerned how they were treating me. But it's just like if I can't remember, I can't really hold someone responsible. Like, oh, you did this and this to me when I was 2 years old. Like, you know. So I'm not gonna like get into that. And I'm sure if she remembers it, she'll feel bad for it because I feel like my mom is a different person now. As someone it took her to be in her mid-30s to do that. But it's like better in your mid-30s to change as an entire person and have your soul change than to change in your late 50s, your 60s, or even like on your deathbed. Like takes you your whole life to change. It didn't take her whole life to change. She has her whole life ahead of her. Anyways, I was born in Red Bank, New Jersey. And I feel like my first memories are in this daycare called Kids Campus. And I remember this woman called Miss Janet, and she was my first teacher. And there was the option of whether I would, it's a preschool, pre-K. And the option was to stay there or go to kindergarten and primary school and the elementary school in the area, or just to stay in the pre-K and be the only person being taught by Miss Janet. And my parents opted for me to stay there with my sister in the daycare because overall I can understand why. It's just easier on them for me to stay in the daycare where my sister was because it's just like having both kids in one place. But that was like on their end, I don't think they realized how much that impacted because I wasn't really interacting with the kids there. When I was interacting with the kids there, they were like younger and sort of like, I'm not gonna lie, those kids were sort of mean. And the kids that were my age were sort of mean, but they came and got. I don't really remember a lot of the kids my age then, except there was one. My first friend I've ever made that I remember his name was Brandon. I don't know if he was Asian or not or whatever, but I remember there was a whole trip where the class went to like Sesame Street Lane or something. Some shit where like it was a Sesame Street water park. I remember that shit. That was sort of fun. That was fun. I remember that. I remember the fries. I remember Elmo and all the Cookie Monster shit. All the Sesame Street paraphernalia everywhere. And that was that for my kindergarten year. And then we had a graduation. I was dancing. There was photos, stuff like that. It was a nice graduation, nice kindergarten. Then I'm thrown into first grade, and I had this teacher named Miss Slag. And mind you, at this point, I was learning one-on-one. So when I was learning, she was teaching me to my face, and it was just a one-on-one session. So I have not, before day one of primary school, had been in a classroom full of kids and tried to learn that way. So I wasn't really I was trying my best, but it was like, I remember being nervous. and and she was just really mean. Um, she was like, write your names on something, and I could understand like my dumbass at the time was like nervous and just like not like socially inept to know what was like the instructions being given, and I wrote my name on the desk instead of on a paper, and I think she practically called me stupid. And that was like, I don't know. I didn't like her. She was a bitch. So, and that was Miss Slag, my first grade teacher. I don't think I should go grade by grade. Um, Second grade, Miss Foley. She's such a nice woman. Wish her the best. I don't know if she's. Um, I don't know what she's doing or if she's like. One of my favorite teachers ever, Miss Murphy, my third grade teacher. She came across as so mean. It's just like, stern doesn't always necessarily have to be bitchy, and she was a prime example of that. Not just because you're stern, a stern woman doesn't mean make you a bitch, you know. And I really liked her, and I used to see her often in public, and I would like I'm still very fond of her, and I wish her the best. She's full of energy, very lively. Fourth grade, Mr. Phillips. And Miss Sly got pregnant in the middle of first grade. Thank fucking God. And then my fourth grade teacher, the daughter of my fourth grade teacher was subbing for the first grade teacher while she was out on her pregnancy. And I'm so glad she was, because she's such a lovely woman. Both of them, her mother and the daughter, and it's just so cute that like a mother and daughter is being a teacher. You know, like I don't know, I just think it's so cute. Fifth grade, I had hair up until fourth grade, and then I was sent to. My grandmother had just moved to South Carolina, and she had broken up with her ex-husband or whatever. I don't know if they were ever married. My grandpa, who goes by the last name of Montalvo. They had separated. She had her maiden name, and then she got remarried and became a Lopez. Whereas in South Carolina with my cousins, and that was like a whole mess. And that was a mess. My mom had forced me to cut my hair after fourth grade because someone had braided my hair really, really tight, and it was really painful. And it wasn't like a normal tight. Like, it was like, it felt like she was pinching my scalp tight, and I'm really tender-headed on my left side of my head. And that bitch was just hurting me. And then I remember at one point, my mom got her hair braided by her, and she said, oh my God, this Carmen did it really tight. And then I just took a mental note of that in my head. I was like, so my mom's just a hypocrite. And I was really forced to cut my hair by my mom. And I'm really like never okay with that. Then they moved from, where were we living? From Lakeview Terrace, which put me from Woodmere Elementary School in Eatontown to Stony Hill, and Stony Hill's closest elementary school was Vetter. And Vetter had a lot more black kids because Woodmere was like surrounded by an all-white neighborhood. And I was just in this new school, and I made friends really fast. But at that point, I started looking at gay porn because I was like 9. My cousins had introduced porn to me at South Carolina, and I didn't know what porn was, and they had introduced it to me, and then my um, aunt's ex-boyfriend was being really homophobic, saying things to like a 9-year-old. Do you like to get your shit pushed in? To a 9-year-old, you know, like as a 9-year-old, I didn't know what that means, you know. And my cousin would defend me from an 11-year-old would defend me from a 24-year-old. And I was like 9 or 8 at the time. He used to ask me questions like that. I guess because my dad made it seem okay, because my dad was also openly homophobic. But so that was that experience. And there's other things that happened with like my cousins did stuff, and I just don't think go in. It's not. I'm telling a story about me, and I don't want to like create or embarrass anyone else except for myself. You know, it's not about me exposing everyone I've been in contact with in my whole life. It's just about me being open with myself and exposing myself to my own voice and to my own truth. So that was that. I'm in the school, and there's so much happening. I think I fully realized that I was gay, and my parents have started to pick up on it too. And there was this group of boys. I was like, we were like actually like friends, and my mom would like they would invite me over and stuff, and my mom was just like not having it. I would ask to go over to the house. My mom was like, no, I have to meet their parents first. But then she would make no effort to like meet their parents. Like she would like, you know, and it's just like I could hear them from the park on their trampoline. Kid's name is Antonio, and my parents were just like being so weird about like they didn't want me to be gay, but they didn't want me to socialize with other boys. It's like, and but like, I don't know. And anyways, you know how like you try to pray the gay away. Like you try to separate me from boys, it just made it worse. Didn't work. Anyways, the group of boys: Joshua, Thomas, Adrian, Antonio, and we were trying to be friends. And my parents weren't having it, so that sort of like failed because they were like hang out with each other in like private, and like they would get to know each other in private. And my parents were just not having it, and I was really trying my best to like maintain friendships throughout like the whole class, and they were all being nice to each other. They're, like each kid had their own quirks and personality traits that like could be like issues and like positive qualities, and it was just like I don't know, just seemed like a whole TV show, and everyone was just like a balanced character, you know. We all got along with each other in our own ways, but because I wasn't allowed to go that far, my parents didn't want me to be around this group of boys. I started gravitating toward the girls that looked closer, Ruth and Angelique. And I had gotten a phone in 6th grade, and that's when I started talking to them private. I say this in heavy quotations because my dad was closely surveilling me the whole time. So I was talking to this I really should change names, but yeah, I don't think this is gonna get very far, this video, or when I'm back posted to YouTube. So I really don't think if it does get far, I'm sorry, but to anybody's names I dropped, I'm genuinely sorry. Like it's just a name. Don't take it personally. Don't identify yourself. And there's this boy named Adrian. I'm not gonna lie. We were to like loaf. I don't know. Anyways, it was like a thing. I don't want to embarrass him, but like we were just like chasing each other and just talking to each other like differently than the other kids, and basically it just felt like we were flirting with each other. I'm just gonna say it point blank. It just felt like hardcore flirting for like one another, you know? And We were talking to each other, and I remember one time I asked him, "What do you like about being my friend?" And he like listed out. It was really nice. He listed out a whole paragraph of like why he liked being my friend, and that meant a lot at the time. But like I said, my dad. 18 minutes. My dad was heavily watching what I was doing. And I don't know what happened, but he just kept like policing what I was doing or how I was talking to people instead of letting me find my own dynamic. And I was just, I don't know. And they were like complaining about me being mean, but my parents were also like very like cruel and mean people at the time, psychologically and physically, to me and my sister. They were just never nice at that time. And I'm not like defaming my parents, because at the time that I was 13 or 12, the time that I was 13 or 12, 13 plus 16, they were like 29, 30, and it's just like their homophobia was already like, deep rooted. And I'm not like trying to make excuses for their homophobia or whatever, but I don't know. I just felt like, I don't know. I just wish I was fiercer sooner with defending myself, and I wish I was always like that. I wish I always had like the voice to defend myself without having to be vicious. But people really don't listen to me until I get vicious, and it's just, and then at that point they get all offended. But I don't know what happened. I'm almost positive my dad sort of intercepted the conversation, had a conversation with his dad or whatever, and then like we gravitated away. I don't know what happened. It was so like subtle. In like middle school, we just like stopped being friends. I don't know what happened to that group of kids, but like I'm almost positive my dad told him to stop being my friend or something, because that whole group just like, they didn't like were mean to me, but they like stopped being my friends when middle school came around. And it's like, it hurt my feelings that like my parents were intervening like that. And my dad was listening on phone calls, like my friends invited me out to ice cream, and before I even asked the question, he had said no. It's just like simple stuff where like I wasn't allowed to go. They wanted me to be outside the house, but they didn't want me to go far. It's just like lots of double, like, it's like, it was very apparent they didn't know what they're doing, and then they're very apparent that they were always retaliating against any sort of notion that I was gay. But I did find safety in my friends at the time, Ruth and Angelique. I would go over their house, and I really felt safe, safe there. I really felt safe at my friend's Angelique's house when I wasn't, allowed to be over there with my other friends, the boys. And then I feel like a lot of my male socialization, like it's not like I don't know how to socialize with. Actually, no, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how to socialize with men, and I feel like I could have, if they would have just like step back a little bit and have like, just like, you can't, I've always known I was gay. I've always known. I've known since I was like 4 or 5. And they were just so vicious and mean to like, to a point where it made me question, like, I don't know. I just didn't understand that. Like, you're being mean to a preteen. But I'm gonna flash forward on so I'm no longer friends with Ruth or Angelique and stuff like that, because at this point this is the point where I had started running away from home. 7th grade. I don't know if I started running away in 7th grade or 8th grade, but at 7th grade, and I was already deep rooted and cemented. I started watching gay porn in the house, and they were sent them into straight chaos. I just really lost that, so I'm just gonna give that a break because I can't do this and talk at the same time. Sent the whole house into chaos. My mom would come out her room crying because I was watching gay porn. My dad had like cameras in the room to watch me. I was masturbating one time. I was like 12 or 13, and I was using what was it? Hand sanitizer, Germex to be specific, to clean my hands before I touch my dick, because I used to always do that. I was like, I don't know. As a kid, I was like, I don't want germs on my dick. Like, it was always a thing. And my dad comes in like 20 minutes after I'm done masturbating. He's like, you know you're supposed to use lotion, right? And it's just like, how do you know that? You know? My door's closed. No one walked in because I'm facing towards the door. And I'm just like, I'm not using the Germex as lube. I'm like cleaning my hand, so like my dick doesn't have germs on it, because I want to keep my coochie clean. And he just says like these things that like he's always knows what I'm doing. And then, okay, I'll just be honest. I've always been sort of fresh as like a preteen, you know. And I was 12 or 13. I had a glow stick with me in the shower, because I used to use glow sticks instead of action figures, because I was like, it helps me imagine more or whatever. I'm not going to go into like how I enjoy glow sticks more than action figures, but like whatever. I was playing with it in the shower, and I tried to put it on my ass, and my dad comes in like 20 seconds later. Like, I don't know how he knew, but he started beating me with it. He like took it away from me, started beating me with it. That was that. So at that point, I picked up that like he either had video cameras, or he was either like, I don't know. That's the only explanation for like the few instances of like homoerotic behavior from like me being a preteen. Like that's how he knew. It was like cameras. Like, how else would you know like that I was doing that in the shower? I was in the shower behind the shower curtain, so how would you know I was doing that with that? And for you to be hitting me with the glow stick because I was doing that with the glow stick, you know? And then they started throwing away glow sticks. I was watching gay porn, and then at the same time, at one point he was like, you know, I get alerts on my phone when you watch gay porn, right? And